Shawty, she a freak, 10-10 freak. She don't want to speak, she want beat to the beat. I'm the voice of the street, plus a freak in the sheet. She want me for her tea, I got me for your meat. I am mad. Shawty, in that bam, in that
Longer than I thought it was
really
gonna
nice.
Go. Yeah?
I think
it's
it makes
the brown.
you look very warm in the face, like warm toned.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. No,
I've been using
It's really
Cash
nice.
Beauty though, so it could be that too. I've been mixing up the makeup
You've been using
routine.
your stuff good. I'm proud of you, sis. I'm proud.
Yeah.
Demi, how's your week? You just sat there cheesing. See how she's shining seats.
God is good, first of all.
All the time.
All the time, God is good. My week has been fine. I went to the UK. Obviously, went to see Wright Brothers Table for One.
Yes.
It was really, really good.
Yes, we'll tap in on that on another play properly.
Yeah, another day properly.
Yeah. I said another
but
play,
yeah, like
Jesus.
I've just been calm, just been working, enjoying this new age of 25. I turned 25.
Oh, 25.
Yeah, 25.
I miss those days.
I won't lie to you, like, once sorry to get serious real quick, but once I, like, actually just started being real with myself and, like, taking accountability, like, handling situations now a bit better. So now, like, all in all, my head is clearer. Like, even when I have my down days, do you get me? Like, I can bounce back quickly. Because obviously when you're feeling down or whatever, it now affects your self-confidence and you don't feel pretty or whatever. But once you do that really quickly and you jump to I've been feeling really sexy. So it is really 25. I get why they say 25.
Really?
I feel fine.
I didn't feel
But also,
I
I hear it. Right?
I hear it.
I
feel like when I hit 25, I was like, okay, I feel a lot more.
Yeah, like, but
So I get it.
you probably made the right decisions in regards to making those hard decisions.
Really?
Are you still learning? It's okay.
I'm learning, yeah. I definitely
I felt 25 at 18, fam.
Really?
Really?
Oh yeah, because you were thrown
Bro,
into the
I've
deep
been
end of
grown
things.
for a long time.
25.
Girl, I'm 30 this year.
Why are you shouting, bro?
Yeah.
I don't like when she tells people her age.
Nice.
Okay,
It's
I'm
getting
okay with being 30.
Yeah.
Dirty 30.
I know you're okay with your age, but like really and truly, she says she's 30, but she has a spirit and
look
soul
it.
of 27.
Well, when you get close to the eye bags, I look at the way these eyes are starting to crinkle. Oh my God, guys, I've gotten really into skincare. TikTok has me soaked. What double cleansing? I don't know this. Was it retinol eye cream?
Oh, retinol. Banging.
What?
Banging.
The first time I used it made me break out. But this eye cream everyone is harping on about is supposed to be
works.
good. And since my job gives me sleepless nights, I think I need it.
Because 25 humbled me.
Really?
I felt humbled. I was just like, you're not a kid anymore.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta go live life.
Yeah.
Like, there's just no, like, it's like, obviously you can make mistakes and stuff. And probably when I turn 30, I'll be like, oh, 25 was so young. But like 25, I felt like I was a proper adult.
Really?
Like, the most adult I've ever felt in my life.
It's like
Yeah.
grow up quick. Like
Yeah.
now it's like, okay, you're actually a real life. I say
Yeah.
I'm a real life adult.
Yeah.
I feel like, okay, now I have to like think about
I feel more so that like everything is in my hands. Like I have to stand on business when it comes to my own decisions. Like obviously I'm an adult. Like I'm an adult technically, but I just feel like now I can't really I can't blame anyone for my choices. That's what I feel like 25 is for me right now. Yeah.
I don't like mess around, right? Like, you can't mess up, like.
is your frontal lobe developed? Is that just men or is that just
Women.
Women is 25, but I think men is like 38 or something.
Because I think that's accurate.
I would still give them up
Do
to
you
like
guys feel like your
50.
frontal lobe is developed?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Maybe that's
I
why you
think-
feel like you're like
Yeah.
Life experiences make your frontal lobe develop quicker.
Yeah.
No, but even like life experiences, but then like, I don't know, things just make more sense. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know, like things that used to get you before you're 25, get at you before you're 25, you'd be like, oh my God, this is like so horrible. But then you turn 25 and then you're like,
I think it's not got to do with age. I genuinely think it's more of an experience thing. So if there's some people who go through the most traumatic things at like 16, 17,
Yeah.
and they could be a lot more mature than people who are 30 because they've learned from what they're going through.
Yeah.
So I definitely do think it's based off a lot more of like life experiences. I think especially like in the country that we live in, things are quite easier for us here than in other countries.
Yeah.
So other people are forced to grow up so much older. Like I think Americans grow up way older than they
They
should.
be old. 22, they be old.
yeah.
Yeah, but it's like when you look at certain places they're from, they've had to. Like if you go to other countries as well, like in like I'll use India, like the slums, kids are grown from the age of like 7, 8, thinking of how they're going to pay bills, rent, all of those things. So it's definitely your life experiences that I think teach you it. For sure.
Do you think that like it's like when you reach a certain age and when your frontal lobe is developed, it's like you process things better. Because I feel like you can be mature from a young age, but you might not process it in an adult way.
Possibly true.
I definitely agree. I feel like now I think I had grace before, but now I have more intentional grace for people. So basically, if a situation happens, right, cool, they've upset me. But now I think of the possibilities of why I think they upset me. Yeah. So like obviously now they could have been acting out of character, or it could be this they're going through in their life or whatever. So now it makes me calm down and attend situations better. I think it's also helped with my communication. Because before I was not confrontational at all. But now with the frontal lobe, with the help of the frontal lobe, I feel like I can communicate without hurting anyone's feelings. I'm more sensitive. Do you get me? And my point actually comes across very clearly.
Yeah.
I used to study it.
My frontal lobe was going backwards. Because you just said, you know, you handle things gently. Me, now I'm blunt as hell. I was never this blunt growing up. Now I just say stuff and people look at me and be like, Rosa, why are you talking like that? Because that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Bro.
I think that's like, obviously because you were growing. Do you know what I mean? We're not scared about the comeback. We're literally like, we'll do whatever.
Your frontal lobe knows what to do. It's like,
exactly.
So
if you want to fight me, try. You can't. Work has me tired. I have no energy.
Bro, I think that's it as well. I think I've started saying, we're grown. Come on. We're grown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We are grown. We are grown. Like, we're just grown. Like, oh my God.
We're grown.
Freaking out.
Guys, I feel like if we continue mentioning we're grown, someone's about to start crying.
Yeah. What age was the best for you guys?
25.
25. Yeah.
What year did I win the show? That was like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I won a load of money that year. That was great. Don't ask me where the money is right now. It's nowhere to be seen.
25.
25?
So 27 was my year.
I think 21 for me.
2021.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Big shift for me. Like, I feel like that's kind of when I did like, just kind of found myself a bit. Like, you know, became more confident. Just kind of found myself.
I love it.
All that.
I love that.
Yeah.
So 21.
Yeah.
But everything else, like right now, I'm like, okay, I feel like I want to be 21. Like, I want the experience I had when I was 21 again.
You know? That's me with 22. That's me with 22.
If I was 9, I think 19 was a good year. I would have invested in Bitcoin, bro.
Oh.
Like, if I had the knowledge I had then, I would have been on a private jet. 'Cause I would know.
Put some stock into Amazon.
Bro.
You get Tesla.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
I wish I
Or
understood that stuff.
Same.
I still don't understand that stuff.
Do you know, I saw TikTok I saw TikTok the other day, and it was like me on my way to work because I wasn't confident enough to do silly TikTok dances.
I saw that.
Like,
can you imagine? That's true. During the pandemic, when everyone's doing those TikTok, look at all the followers they have now. But in Ireland, it's also pointless because we don't have a
Creator
TikTok fund.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
but we still...
You still got the followers and like
Still got the
people.
followers.
Yeah, because
The
still
sponsorship.
it's from brand deals and
Brand
sponsors.
Let's do the intro, guys. We're getting carried away.
Oh, yeah.
Intro.
So welcome back to GTG, baby. Your weekly subscription to the Jizz. And today we have an extra special guest to my right.
Hello.
Hello, Liz.
Hi.
How are you?
This is so awkward. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
This is
It's
your
nice
first
having
podcast.
you here.
First ever podcast.
Good.
I feel
Y'all been
privileged.
sleeping on her, but
Right.
thanks for letting us have her first.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm excited.
Feel privileged.
Real quick, just a week before we get into
Yes.
real business.
Go on.
Have you guys heard of HMP Wandsworth?
Oh my
The prison.
goodness.
Ross, you showed me the video of the woman
prison
having,
guards.
you know, sex
Oh
with.
yeah. Sorry.
No, you're gonna.
No. I didn't even learn the names. I'm still
So
flabbergasted.
HMP Wandsworth is the name of the prison.
Okay.
One of the toughest prisons as well.
It's tough.
It's one of the like
That's tough.
Yeah.
He's having the time of his life.
They have a
Oh,
TV in there. They're watching football, bro.
Do you not see him there smoking with
Cost of
the
living.
phones? I need to know what phone he was using though, because the camera
some block,
quality
yeah.
was not
A
HD.
block, yeah. Probably,
no fucking
probably
no
small enough where you can fit it anywhere.
How did he even
Think
get that
with your own
footage?
shit.
Up the bum, babe. That's literally what we're talking about, the Chucky and Taser
Yeah.
episode where like it sticks stuff up their bum.
You gotta. It has to move adequately.
That's crazy.
Goodness
That was
gracious
a
me.
madness.
Guys,
She's in so much trouble.
do you know what? Well, she is in trouble, yeah. But I went to find her. Do you get me? So she's in an open marriage
Yeah.
with her
Okay.
husband. So this
Okay.
is fine.
They have an OnlyFans.
Because everyone's like, oh my God, her husband's going to be so mad. No, he doesn't care. Do you know what I mean? He might care now because obviously like they have children together and she's going to be locked up for a long time. But why was the man recording? Like, you know that fella, his friend in the room.
OnlyFans. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what she needed the footage for. But how would she have extracted it from the phone? But then how did it make it onto the internet? Still made it onto the internet somehow.
I saw a voice note on TikTok, so allegedly this is what happened, guys, right? Allegedly. But like she pissed somebody off and they like I think both of the guys were supposed to have a little bit of fun with her and only one of them got it. So out of rage, he decided to like get her back, and he ruined it for everyone. I'm not saying ruined it. You shouldn't be doing that.
Debbie's like, huh?
Everyone, there's a lot of people in prison, man.
No, but you see, the thing is, right? He was the one recording, so the one recording was the one who probably didn't get their turn.
He was like, hey,
Yeah.
man, let
But
me get a bit.
that's not even the gag of it all. Do you know the one who had his fun? He has a wife at home who's 7 months pregnant.
Bro, it just get the plot
Just gets
thickens.
worse.
I was like,
Okay, cool, girl, do your thing, yeah, because I'm not gonna put down another woman or whatever. But why'd you look at the camera and bite your lip?
oh my God.
You really watched the video, Sha? I'm not gonna lie, I saw a 1 minute trailer, right?
Roz, you were the one that showed me the video. She's acting like she's a good one here.
I watched the 1 minute trailer, and then my best friend rings me and she goes, Roz, no, did you watch the full thing? And she says me and she goes, Roz, this thing is 4 minutes long.
I didn't watch the 4 minutes, I promise. Roz was sharing screening me.
I saw from the top of the whole thing. I saw all
Video
angles
available
of that cell
in the box.
room. And from the top of the bottom to the bottom, I was like, damn.
How do you even recover from that? You
Damn.
You can't.
You
But
can't recover from
Do you know
that.
how frequently does that happen? And like, there was
Happens.
also rumors that she used to like sneak in like cigarettes for them, but apparently like
cigarettes.
one pack of
Definitely
cigarettes
more
is
than
supposed
cigarettes.
To, oh, definitely a lot more. But one pack of cigarettes is apparently something like 200, 300 pounds. They'll pay for it, and these guys have money. That guy was also in jail for robbery.
Yeah. He was just like, it's
They
just
never
like,
found the stuff either that he robbed, so it's probably like sold somewhere.
yeah, he just sold it on. But like,
Now the guys are making jokes on the TL. Like, they don't mind going to prison.
I'm not gonna lie, I've seen another prison. I don't know where it is, but man was wearing a tech fleece in there, fam.
Okay.
you can wear whatever.
They have PlayStations.
But you know, prisons.
Do you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I could do with a holiday.
in this cost of living. Have you looked at rental prices recently?
What?
Have you looked at them?
And they feed you in there. Let's say, for
Feed
example,
you.
if they didn't feed you,
Nah, man,
Fair enough,
I don't
it's a
know if I
problem.
can do
Gym,
jail food.
Gym, little bit
yeah.
of TV.
So it's
bit
kind of like
food.
communal living.
Communal living. Do you get me?
I think it's because we're in Europe. Have you seen the prison in Russia?
Oh,
There's
crazy.
this prison in Russia,
What-
and like I forgot the name,
Is
but
it bad,
basically,
It's a bad.
it's bad. Like, as in, first of all, the prisoners have to walk at a 90-degree angle. They shave their heads. They're served food through a straw.
Crazy.
And like, obviously, some of them try to escape to risk their lives so they can die. But like, I think the longest they've lived in there is 25 years. So they don't even make it out of their sentence. But I think if you do a certain amount of time, you can actually leave. But some people don't even make that amount of time. That's how bad it is. They're in the dark. They all have to yeah, it's crazy.
That's giving North Korea, honestly. It's giving North Korea.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
really
If prisons were like that, now,
yeah, that's when you learn.
That's when you learn.
But
Literally.
like, it just depends on your prison. Like in Ireland, like there's different levels of prison. So there's like high security. I don't know if that's the right word to use. And then there's like low security. So depending on which one you're in, like some prisoners get day release. They can just go out, go to college, go to the shop, meet up with some friends.
Is that for like what kind of crimes would?
Wouldn't be for like heavy crimes, do you know what I mean? Like if you're in for murder, like you're not going on day release, do you know what I mean?
But like, how are they tracked to go back? Because they're like, I got bracelets and stuff.
yeah, so like, and it depends
I
on
didn't
like,
even know we had that in this country.
yeah, I'm not sure if we have ankle braces to be honest, but like they probably
it's
just
mad we
trust
don't.
us. You'll be okay. Make sure they will.
murdered like
Have you
12
seen their
times.
prices? Like they literally get to go out with their friends and they have a warm bed to go home to at night. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
It's true.
Have you guys seen? Sorry, I just when you're talking about prison there, Lucy Letby. Have you heard about her?
No.
The nurse in the UK. She was a midwife or a nurse.
I did.
And she just got her sentence, so she's in prison now. But like her prison cell looks cute. Like it's like so basically she went to prison because she was murdering babies.
Yes, I remember her.
So I think her sentence happened over like the weekend. So she was basically killing babies essentially, and she got caught. So like I think she's in there for life. But like it's a cute prison. Like it's like it looks like my
comfy,
box
like-
bedroom from my mom's house.
No, but I'm
Like,
saying, is it because she like claimed mental? They
she
claimed
didn't
that
even
was
claim that.
Whoa, wow.
But she probably
Apparently she was a normal like
yeah.
She was
Girl,
crazy.
Did
though.
she get a psych evaluation?
I think they probably did give her one, but it was premeditated. Like she knew what she was doing when she was doing it. Like it was very easy for them to catch that it was her as well, because every single time a child died, it was always on her shift.
on her shift.
Yeah, so it was just like
She was
a matter of
always
And they
common
found
denominator.
letters in her house like where she was right. She goes, I'm a bad person.
That's
I'm
why I don't
horrible."
understand. Why are you keeping the evidence?
because most people like this is around my intense knowledge from Criminal Minds, but most like people that do bad things, like it's for themselves. Do you know what I mean? They want to keep on to trinkets. It's not actually to do bad. It's because they have some problem within themselves.
That is crazy.
So they want it, like it makes them feel good. It's not like they do something bad and they're like, oh my God. They're like, oh my God, no, but let me keep it because I
given
want to
demonic.
remember it.
It's giving cheeky.
Yeah.
I find anybody like that in my life.
Yeah.
Just
Amen.
stay away
Even
from
just
me.
talking about babies, I was listening to this woman, sorry, on TikTok, source from TikTok. But I looked it up though. Women who have birth like after 30 have a longer life expectancy.
Women who give
They
birth
didn't-
after 30.
Really?
They didn't tell you. They didn't know. They didn't tell you. Because obviously you think, when you're younger, it's good to have kids younger so you can live longer and your body will bounce back. But no, young, like people who have babies younger are less likely to live longer compared to the women who have babies after 30. Look it up.
But then the downside to that is that most women who have babies after 30, geriatric pregnancies, your kids.
Is it 35?
Yeah, I think they've increased the age
So
to
it's like
35 because we're all
it's like
starting
a
to
thing.
live a little bit longer now.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of women nowadays are having healthy children past that age. But I think it's
They
just
are.
because of they freeze their eggs or something.
Freeze their eggs.
I was just talking to my dad about this,
Yeah.
about freezing eggs.
Yeah, freezing eggs.
It's just
I think-
your 20s.
Health insurance.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
You can freeze your eggs with health insurance?
Yeah.
That's banging. Oh, we talked about that before.
Yeah.
I think, do you know what's crazy, right? That if you, like from 25, you've probably lost like half of your eggs already. That's crazy.
The most
Do you know
amount of
how many eggs you have? Can you check how many eggs you have?
Yeah, I think you're able to see if you're going for like one of those scans or tests. I think they're able to see exactly how many
Apparently, if you go to Turkey, there's this place where you can get like a full body
health
checkup.
scan. Yeah, I'm
Cheaper
hearing a
than
lot of
if
people
you
do
go to
it.
America or in Europe.
Yeah, I'm
Because
hearing a lot of people.
I forgot
do
what
that.
it's called.
Yeah.
If I know what it's called, I'll put it in like the description box or whatever.
But the most amount of eggs you actually have is while you're still in your mom's womb.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You're not even born with a fighting chance. You're already losing it before you even get there.
Bro, for the
Damn.
amount of planes I've been on, shit.
The amount of microwaves, radiation.
You know when you're staring for that food,
Yeah.
ready for it to ding. You'd be like,
You're losing eggs.
Losing
Yeah.
eggs, bro.
Radiation.
Sometimes I move away from the microwave.
But no one tells you
Give
this.
them a saving chance.
No one actually tells
But
you
that's
that.
because like when you actually deep it, a lot of stuff hasn't been around that long. Microwaves haven't really been around that long. Like when you deep it, like growing up, our parents probably heated food a lot more in the oven or on the cooker.
Yeah.
yeah.
Especially in Nigeria, in Africa, where you getting microwave from when they're cutting electricity every 2
I
minutes?
actually went to my friend's house and they didn't have a microwave.
yeah.
They
my
just use
granddad
oven and air fryer.
Yeah.
I was like, let's say I warm
That's
my
technically better.
I warm my milk. Okay.
Oh,
Let's just
no.
get it. If you have a problem, leave.
I can't.
If you have a problem,
I was really like, I was like, I like this girl, the milk warm.
Yeah.
You're the only one here, so maybe you need to go.
What's
And
wrong?
then when it gets,
Why?
when it, you know, when the, what's that thing
Oh,
called?
the film.
yeah, but that's because that's unexperienced people. I'm a pro, so I warm my milk to the white. Now it's not gonna be warm. It's like a chill cold. Like you know when you enter the pool, and it's like a chill cold. You can go in, but it's not too. Anyways, I'm a professional milk warmer, so I know how to get
Wait.
my milk. What really? What?
How did you do that? Like, why do people warm their milk? Like, who woke up one day and said, "Oh, let's try it this way"? Like, do you get me? It's so like, how did you find it? I'm actually asking. Sorry, forgot you're a milk
I don't know what your
warmer.
intentions are behind that question. I don't know if I should answer. But I even forgot what I was saying. But yeah, like I warm my milk or whatever, so I have to use a pot.
But who like you just warm it one day and say, banging.
Like, is it a family thing?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I love cereal, and I just thought like, I can put it. I don't like cold milk though. I don't like cold things.
Okay,
I don't
makes
like
sense.
cold food.
It's true. She loves like
I don't like cold
tea
food,
and all of
you
that
get
kind
me?
of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays I've grown to like not overheat my milk to the way the skin is, because apparently that's the protein, and obviously we want protein, you know, for the big bum and that, so we can't be microwaving the food too tough. But let's get into serious conversation. We need the protein.
Jamie. Oh,
Coagulation and that, yeah.
I love you. I love you, girl. Okay, now we're going to dive into more serious topics. You know, I think someone actually messaged us and asked us to speak about Congo. There's not enough coverage on Congo. You hear so much about Palestine, Gaza, Israel, but where the news at about Congo? And even us, we think it's going to be easier to actually speak to someone who knows what is actually going on. So we brought Litz today to come and tell us all about what's going on. Let's go. Educate us.
Thanks for having me, because it is true, like, people don't really know about it. Like, and I'm like not an expert. I'm just really passionate about Congo. So, yeah, it's quite sad because it's been going on for years. Like, I think since I was born, my parents have always said, oh, Congo used to be good. Like, it's always been in conflict mode. So, obviously, it's got a lot more exposure because what's happening in the east of Congo. So, to understand basically why that's happening and why Congo's the way it is, like people know Congo is actually one of the world's richest countries, like resources-wise, like coltan, diamonds, all of that. Like, it's naturally about 80% of the world's like natural minerals can be found there. So like, I think I read somewhere actually was saying that it can actually, it's so rich that it could clear America's debt.
That's crazy.
Like,
Wow.
you know,
crazy.
so like when you like listen to stuff like that, it makes sense as to why Congo is the way it is, because of greed, right? And like what's happening right now, because back in the day, like when I'm talking about like kind of like way back, I think when my granddad was young, Congo was pretty stable. Like actually a lot of Africans, like South Africans, Zimbabweans used to relocate to Congo. That's where all the jobs were, all of that, obviously because of colonization and stuff like that as well. But it was pretty stable. It was nothing to like, you know, what it is now. Yeah. And it's only gotten worse, like, you know, and the reason why it's happened, so where Congo is, it's centrally located on, like it's bang on in the middle. So it borders a lot of countries. So in the east of Congo, it's bordering Rwanda. And so I don't know if you guys have heard about the Rwandan genocide, the genocide that happened in Rwanda. So that genocide, or like that conflict that happened in Rwanda, is actually the reason why Congo's the way it is. Because what happened is, after the genocide, so basically the Rwandan genocide, it was a conflict between two tribes, the Hutus, the Tutsis. When the genocide was finished, a lot of the Hutus who were killing the Tutsis at the time of the genocide ran away and set up refugee camps in Congo. So it's so close. It's kind of like going to, like, you know, Northern Ireland to Belfast, that kind of thing. So they basically camped there. And then because of that, the Tutsis, when they got into power and all that kind of stuff, they started fighting the Hutus extremists that were in the refugee camps in Congo. And like, it's kind of like a knock on, like genuinely, that's actually like why. So basically, like, there's different countries, and sometimes I just want to put a disclaimer out there, like when I'm calling out countries, I personally am not attacking anyone from the countries. It's no one. Like, I actually have friends who are like Ugandan, Rwandans and stuff like that. Like, it's nothing personal to them. I'm talking about what has happened. History. But basically, like, Rwanda and Uganda like teamed up to kill the people in East Congo. And then obviously when that happens, you're running away and all that kind of stuff. And then different Congolese politicians have gotten involved in that, you know. So I know there was one president at the time who was against that, and then that caused a civil war in Congo, and that's kind of when everything happened. And this is literally like recent, like, you know, it's in recent years. It's not, I'm not talking like 60 years ago. Like, it's actually quite like recent. And I think that Congo is still basically recovering from that. You know, you've had different leaders, like, you know, different assassinations, like not the current Congolese president, but the one before that, Kabila, was was president like for years. I think almost over 20 years. But apparently how he got there was allegedly how he got there was because he was an ally with the Rwandan president. So if they have someone that's people say that Kabila isn't Rwandan. Like, no, he's not Congolese. He's from Rwanda originally.
Okay.
Like, he's not actually a Congolese person.
So people are trying to say,
quite personally, I agree with that statement. He doesn't even look Congolese, you know. But like, so essentially, he was put there, and if he's put there, he gets paid all the money that he wants. But also, Rwanda still have power, because if you think about it, Rwanda after the genocide, if you look at Rwanda now, it literally is one of the cleanest countries in Africa. Like even saw what happened with like in the UK, how they sent the people to Rwanda. Like it's so modern and all that. So sometimes you have to question how these things happen. You know, how can one country, and it's so small.
Because when I think of Rwanda, I think Blood Diamond.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch that movie?
Yeah.
Like that's what I mentally think of like of Rwanda. So to hear that they're very good right now, I'm like,
it's crazy, and it's so sad. Like, and like and I think that's the knock-on effect has caused Congo to be, because what happened is people are fleeing the east and then moving like to different parts of Congo, and like, you know, like war is expensive as well. Like, you know, when people are fighting, like who's paying for the weapons? And the reason why when we say Congo is bleeding, and why we say, like, you know, blood is in every country's hand, is because who's funding so basically what's happened now, especially in the east, there's the M23 army.
Yeah,
and they're basically the Rwandan and Ugandan militia. Like, so they're there and basically they're killing people, right? Who is funding the militia army? It's actually the US, you know, like
Can I
you
tell
know
you something?
Go on.
Because it was one of the topics I was going to bring up. We're going to spin back to you because I don't want to take the light off, but there's like, people are funding someone or people to come into the black community and separate it and break it down consistently. Now, obviously now here in this case, it's war.
Yeah.
Like in other communities, it's like sending bad, like, you know, leaders or like people to distract people from, or people that like segregate a lot of people and like make, let's say, I know this is a kind of like a lighthearted example, but make black people talk about the same topics over and over again instead of dealing with the fact that, cool, all these children don't have fathers. Why don't they have fathers?
Yeah.
Why are all these people, black people, going to jail? Why is there so much drugs in there? Who's funding the drugs?
Like if you think of it in America with the whole crack cocaine epidemic, that was funded by the government.
Right.
Like
So just really just like I touch to kind of like.
But I think you're onto something, because actually when you look at Africa's history in general, back in the day, Africa used to be a kingdom. You know, like people honestly it's so.
There's a reason why everything was stolen.
Yeah, everything was stolen. Like Europe has nothing.
They still don't want to return it. There's a reason.
I think I think from the little research that I have done is the M23. They're being funded by like big countries like the US and other countries as well, because there's a benefit to attack Congo because it is so rich. And I think that's what I feel like there's with all the injustice that's going on in the world, not only Congo, like Sudan and Palestine, everybody's getting a benefit. Do you know what I mean? And they don't actually care about the genocide that's actually happening.
And this is why they're saying it's so important to boycott. Like when you're boycotting these companies, you're basically stopping funding them.
What companies should we boycott?
I'm not gonna lie, do you know what's a massive one that a lot of people will not like to hear? Technology is a big one for Congo.
Because
all our batteries,
all of our
every
iPhones,
phone, not just iPhones, Samsung, your laptops, your TVs,
function.
Every single thing that has a battery has like, so that's why it's like, I feel like this is so important for us to talk about it, because it's like everybody is playing a part in it, no matter how small you think it is.
Tesla's another one. A lot of the electric cars, you know.
And it's like, it's nearly kind of like a knock-on effect, because the whole point of these electric cars is because they're trying to help the environment. But it's like you're also digging from the earth in Congo. What environment are you actually helping?
But the batteries in the electric cars only are supposed to last for like 7 years.
Yeah.
So like to counteract what, like they're trying to say like, oh, don't use petrol because it's damaging to the environment. What are all these batteries going to do after 7 years? Because it means that there's going to be more construction of like vehicles because they're only lasting for a short amount of time. Like there's still cars that are going back to 1990 that are still on the roads. Do you know what I mean? We're saying in 2024 I'm only going to have it not until 2030.
And then even these same countries that you're talking about, the petrol, the diesel, where are you exploiting that from? It's
Exactly.
Still from Africa. Like you're still the people who are owning the majority of these profits, because I know for Nigeria is one, we have a lot of resources when it comes to oil, but we don't own a lot of it.
Yeah.
And that is crazy.
It's crazy, isn't it?
It's
like who
crazy.
benefit? Like it's like sometimes you have to ask yourself who benefits from these things. Like I always say, like I personally wouldn't be a fan of like the UN because I find their goals contradicting when they say
don't do
every child
anything.
has a right to education. Okay, if that's a universal thing, why are there people parts in the world that don't have access to education? You know?
Yeah.
I was reading up on the Sudan war and what's going on there. And obviously I was reading the article and it just said, the UN has labeled this person as as guilty for these crimes. The UN has... But I didn't hear UN invested into the
Yeah.
I wasn't seeing
why are
that.
you
So
there?
when you brought it, I was like, actually,
Why are you there?
When I know the UN was a big red flag, I was listening
utterly
to
nonsense.
the Joe...
UN.
I was screaming. I was listening to the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had this Korean lady who escaped from North Korea. I can't remember her name, but I'll make sure to type it up. Her story's insane. Like, North Korea is not a place that should exist. North Korea is the real Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, there's no electricity.
It's a
People
dictatorship.
don't have food. Like, everything they're taught in their life is that Kim Jong-un, they don't have Bibles. She didn't know the Bible existed because her Bible was Kim Jong-un's life. That's all they know. If your house is on fire and you don't take his picture out of your house, they will kill you.
Yeah.
You, like, the crimes of your grandfather, your whole lineage could be in a concentration camp because of the crimes of your great-grandfather. People don't eat. There's no fertilizers. You have to keep your own poop for the whole year, and they wait at the end of the year, and that's what they will take to go and fertilize crops.
That's crazy.
So when she escaped from United Nations, she escaped from Korea. She went to, I think, Malaysia, from Malaysia to China. And how she even escaped was through prostitution.
I know, yeah, I read her thing.
That's how she had to escape. And like how she even escaped it for a little bit was because her mom took her place for one of her sellers. Because her mom didn't want her to be hard. When she left, she wasn't even allowed to tell her dad, because if they questioned her dad, it'd be a thing where they would torture him till eventually he would say the truth and he would die. So it was better off for her family to not know when she was escaping so she could escape. So when she escaped and she was talking about this stuff in America and bringing awareness to what's going on in North Korea, she went to like a United Nations meeting. Please tell me why the United Nations sat her beside the rulers of Korea. She escaped North Korea and she sat beside the rulers of North Korea that are supposed to kill her for escaping. Crazy. No safety. With everything she's spoken about, do you think they did anything? The fact there's no electricity, like I know a lot of us seem to think that like a lot of the problems are going on in one place, but when you sit down and listen to some of these horror stories, people should never have to live like this. So it really gets you thinking, what did the Unite... Oh babe, I'll send you the podcast. I'll put the link.
I've heard
that podcast was like 3 hours long and it shook me to my core because I was like, this should not be real life. It's the real life Hunger Games.
It's a complete dictatorship. But then I think what's really scary about the world is the reason why a lot of people don't do things is because of like the power these countries have. Because like Russia has a nuclear bomb. Do you know what I mean? Ready just to press a button. North Korea has one too. Do you know what I mean? And all these countries are like probing for like war. Do you get me? So they know. It's like they know that they have an advantage. So it's like that's why they're allowed to do those things, because like why is the UN... I completely agree with everyone's saying, but the UN is literally like being like, well, I don't want to be nuked. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's so sad that it's come to that. Like that people are more obsessed with power, which has been like this since the start of history. Do you know what I mean? Like people are more consumed by power than actually doing right.
Yeah.
And greed. And I think it's just really scary because like sort of going back to like a lot of like the three main things that go on that I hear all the time is Sudan, Congo and Palestine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like these things are happening, like genocides are happening to like extreme levels.
Yeah.
And like there's so many countries that have the power to step in and make a change. But because because they're benefiting and because they can get something from it, they're allowing like not only people but children, families, you know what I mean? They're wiping out generations.
100%.
It's the children. I think I saw a video and it was of children in Congo at the moment, and that was what shattered me. I was like, because it's like especially when you're looking at them, it's like my brother was once your age, I was once your age. That could really be me in another life.
Yeah.
Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Let's go back to Congo. So I think we were talking about like materials and like how much we have to play every day into what goes on in Congo.
Yeah. And so basically, it's because of conflict that Congo is the way it is. There's ongoing conflict at the moment. Mainly the East is being affected by it. So, you know, quite recently when what happened in the East with all the shoots. So basically people on the East are on the run. Like people are dying or they're constantly running away, like running for like their lives. I think there was actually a girl, she actually was on the 90s Babies show. Aja, she talks about how, I think it was her auntie or someone, like they beheaded her in like the East. Like that's how it's brutal. Like it's not just like here shooting there, it's brutal. It's like
torture.
Mass stuff like that, you know, and it's a knock-on effect of that. But the mad thing, right, what happens in East Congo is so big that like you could be like in Kinshasa, which is the capital, right? They also have their own show. Kinshasa, it's poverty. Like it's like people are on the streets. Like, you know, there's a different kind. Like people, it's so normal for people in Kinshasa who probably who are not in school or whatever, to be so out of tune what's even happening. They don't even know what's happening there. You know, they just know that they're poor. But the reason why they're poor is because of all of what's happening at the moment, and like. It's just poor leadership, like, as well, like, you know, and I think that's all of Africa, to be honest. The current president at the moment, a lot of people don't like him because they feel like he does nothing. And I can hear it, but my observation and my kind of conclusion with that is I think that he's only been, I think he was elected in, 2016, 2018. He's he was the first new president since Kabila, who like was there for years, right? He's got a lot to fix. I think it's a mentality switch as well. You know, and when I went to Congo and I was chatting to one of the teachers in the school where I was volunteering, she was saying to me that you have to remember that like people are traumatized. You know, like you think like a lot of, like, she was a child when all of this was happening, you know, and like your condition, because it went from having before Kabila was the president, they had a dictator. You know, and like, you know, and Mobutu, people have mixed feelings about Mobutu. They say he was great. They say he wasn't, you know. But like, he was a dictator and he like conditioned people to do like certain things. Like something like that was mad, like was back in the day in Congo, you had to sing the national anthem and like, you know, basically praise Mobutu every school at 9 a.m. are doing that. It's stuff like that, you know, or dance or whatever. Yeah. And I remember the teacher was just like, I don't even know who this guy is. Why am I dancing? Like, you know, it's mad. Like, it's like, it's crazy.
Yeah. You know, being like at 9 a.m. go and dance with Michael J.
Yeah, like he was just, it's what you have to do it.
He loved that. He started dancing with you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We were talking about all these people in power over in Africa, and then we're talking about our president, Michael D, who has dogs that are bigger than him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it is just
crazy, isn't it?
It goes to just show how blessed we are, because the fact that we're actually able to live the life that we're living right now is because one blink that could really be our reality.
But you know what? I actually wanted to touch on that. Like, I think. Like I've really acknowledged how privileged it is to be living in the West and to be living in the Western world, because like even though like I acknowledge what's going on and I try empathize as best I can, I understand that I'm using my privilege because I don't speak about it every day. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not actively trying to prevent these things from happening, and it's like it's it's like something that I need to do for myself. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, but I acknowledge that it's really like heartbreaking that we just are conditioned that way, because it's sort of like, oh no, that's not our problem. Do you know what I mean? We'll leave it to someone else. And it's like, no, all of it is our problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, it might not be happening on our doorstep, but as you just said, Roz, it could. You know what I mean? We never know when it's going to happen to us. So it's like, I sort of want to give my, like, a public service announcement that, like, I know that I need to do more, and I definitely will do more, because we can't leave it for everyone else, because
there won't be any change if we all just keep thinking it's someone else's problem.
Well, you have to remember, I think, when you remember people are human beings, those things become more real. It's because we were so, especially in the West, we're so siloed in our little like bubbles, you know, like we just kind of dismiss people. Like, I think for me, honestly, I think when I went to Congo in 2022, that was when it hit me, like, because when you meet these people who are on the streets, right, although they live like in, like, I remember when we went one day, it was lashing. And you know, the rain that happens in Africa is not like, it's not even the rain that was yesterday. Yeah, like,
no,
you know,
it's not like
people's
Ireland.
Houses could go, like, that kind of thing.
Proper storms, like.
But the joy in their face, like, they're just so joyful. Like, I feel bad about complaining, like, about my job. You know, like,
you know,
they're so like,
as you made that speech, I sat there and I'm like, I'm sure someone in Congo right now would love to take my place in my job.
Do you get?
It's like, we're so conditioned to think of all the stuff and all the troubles we go through, because as much as it's not easy here, it's way worse back home.
I think
way worse.
At one point in my life, I don't want to, hopefully I don't sound insensitive, but I think I was having a bad day. I was being an emotional bitch. I'll be so real. But then I obviously came across one of the videos of children in Congo. I was like, Demi, how could you feel like this? People, kids are hungry in Congo. I even felt like, you know, I should ask God for mercy, because goodness me, like what they're going through over there is terrible. I wanted to also ask you guys about how you feel about charity organizations.
I don't believe in them.
I think
They're not the
which
big ones.
The big ones.
I don't believe in the big ones, because it's like, you can see people who are actually going down and doing the work, but the big ones, this is when the big ones had me shook. Why is my college classmate on the streets of Dublin collecting money for charity but telling me he's getting paid?
Right.
yeah.
Charity is charity.
Yeah.
Like,
but,
that's what I truly believe.
But in the world of economy, money needs to run to do things. Do you get me? Like, charities, I'm not saying that I agree with it, because charity should be for charity, right? But if you want to do big things, you need money. And we live in a world where if you need big things done, you need to hire people, because a lot of people aren't going to do things from the good of their hearts.
To be
I think they've
walking
misconstrued
on
the definition of
streets
charity
Dublin
then.
to try and get people to...
Wait, charity...
It's been misconstrued. Like, for example, charity is, let's say, for example, churches do all the time. People use their own money, buy ingredients, and then, like, obviously, they sell it. Then the money they get goes straight to the charity organizations of their choice.
Yeah.
People who, like, if you want to make change, you have to make that conscious effort in yourself to be like, I'm going to do this free of charge. Me, myself, as a human being, is the service I'm going to give to these people who are in need. Obviously, my problem is, and I could sound uneducated or whatever, it's okay, please educate me. I expect my €5 to go directly to the person.
Yeah.
That's what I want. I want my €5 to go. The people have nominated themselves. They've stood up and said, okay, cool. I'm going to make sure your money goes straight to this person. I don't want
think
to be
what you're
trickled down.
saying eats, and I completely get it. And this is where I'll tie in a little bit with what you're saying. I understand when it comes to advertising, things like that, that's all going to cost money. But this is why I say the big ones have me effed up, because it's like, as I say, you're walking down the streets of Dublin, you have this person stopping you on the streets to sign up for, I'm going to say, Troker, Concern, and all of them. I know, like, I've known one of them who was doing it. He didn't give a heck about the charity. Yeah. He was doing it because it was a job for him, not because he actually cared about where that money was going. And that's where I'm a bit kind of like left ways.
I get it, but do we?
But most charities need donors. You know, that's how that's how it works. I hear that though. But my thing is, with big charities, especially like, you know, when you're in school, like, you know, you had to do what's the box? Like, you know, the
the
troker box.
Yeah.
That troker has been around for years, right? you would think that like
At this point,
we're
At this
getting
time.
it's getting worse.
And I don't know who was telling me, but I don't know if it was you, Ross, but someone told me that like someone who had money just got up and made the change. Got up and did things himself.
Yes, there's this guy in America. I need to figure out his name. I saw it recently on TikTok. This guy, so he basically makes his money off YouTube and streaming and all of that. He went to Jamaica and he built tons of houses for families for nothing.
What's
like,
his name?
I can't. It's Mr. Beast.
Mr. Beast.
Yeah. I saw his chocolate in the shop. I bought it.
Yeah.
Just
but-
because
but-
I know there's good, like, that's why I'm saying, like, you see now he has chocolate, he's still making some sort of money and income, but you can see the work that he's done. And he built hundreds of homes, not just tiny ones, proper ones for kids. He had it decorated for them. And he literally walks into this place and he sees them and he's like, show me your house. And he's like seeing people who are properly struggling. And he was like, okay, you've got this many kids. When he brought them to their new place, he was just like, I have a surprise for you. Here you go. This is your kids' rooms. This is your room. This is for your baby. This is your crib. That is actually seeing the impact that they're done.
But do you not think, I get that, yeah, but he's obviously doing that if he's a streamer. Do you know what I mean? Like, he has his own benefit. He's benefiting, like,
But
he
he's
might not be
streaming,
benefiting
he's
for
making
financially.
money from those streams, because the same streaming that he's doing is also showing a lot of the poverty and the things that are going on.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't feel like there's exploitation there, because I understand there needs to be a bit of money spent to get your footage to be seen.
Yeah, does Choker have a YouTube?
I don't know. I can't tell you the last time I've seen anything. Why didn't Choker pick up Congo? Because the first time I knew how bad Congo was, like being African, we always know there's problems going on in Africa. But when I knew was a problem was that man set himself on fire and it made it to Sky News. Where's Choker?
Westernized, but it's like, because we're westernized, we don't have to, like, we don't, like, the Western media isn't going to comment on things
But
that they don't want. That's why
Choker is Western though. Not seeing Choker nowhere.
I think charities are corrupt. That's like, that's my first statement that I want to put out there. I do believe that they're corrupt. I think that charities are also businesses, and in order for them to work, that's why not all the proceeds are going to the charities. That the money that people invest into them is not 100% going to other people.
I think that's fair.
I also think that if whatever money, they need to clearly outline if 100% of funds are going to what you're donating to, and if they're not, it needs to be not in a fine print, not in everything. Because if charities were more transparent, and they were like, look, we can only give 70% of your proceeds to the charity because XYZ, I think people would be a lot happier to like understand that.
Or just make us give more.
Yeah, because then it's like, okay, makes sense. But they do in an aspect, because that's the whole thing about business. They go, our profits are like 100% of our profits are going to go to this. And that's how they get away with it. And that's why...
See, the thing is, I don't even feel like they need to even go into the nitty gritty, small, fine print. We need to see. That's it. I don't even think people care too tough about the numbers, because when you actually sit down and think of it, as you say, it's a business. We expect money to be spent, because how are the printers working to print out those cardboard boxes? How are those ads making it to TV? Someone has to record them. How are the cameras getting all the way to Congo to record that footage? Someone has to buy them. People know there's expenses, but it's just when it's the likes of, like, as you say, every single year we're getting these little boxes to fill up with money, bring back, but then we're never actually seeing
what the
and
changes.
people donate, like donors, like the rich ones, they be donating like hundreds and thousands. There's actually a charity, David knows about this, but because I'm going to Nigeria in October, and I was looking which charity can I help. And I was looking which charity to help, and I'm like that. I like to see where the money's going, what's going on. And I found one, and it's basically a guy who basically was traveling the whole world, ended up going to Nigeria and went to the slum area, and like he just saw so much poverty, and he's like, right, he's gonna go back, set up a school, whatever, like, you know, go to America and all. And he just started doing it. Like, he just started going to Nigeria every year to basically like set up the school and all of that, like by his own will, and getting his friends to contribute. Like, he had his friend who's good at, like, you know, video and stuff like that. So like his friends would like basically showcase that. And then there's like an NBA player, can't remember who it is, saw the video. Like, it's just one small boy. Like, it was like a random boy. Like, it wasn't anyone famous or anything like that. He saw the video, and I think he like donated 50,000 on the GoFund. He said he saw the GoFundMe going around and he just donated the 50,000, and then that's how that's how people started seeing it. I'm like, that's why I feel like charity, I don't ever think it should operate as businesses. I think if you're gonna work in the charity industry, know what you're getting in for. Don't be expecting to, you know, just because you're doing that job and the hours that you're given, don't expect to basically get paid like, you know, like C-suite money, that kind of thing. And I hear it, like, you know, but I'm like, I just have a big issue. I feel like it removes the whole charity aspect, you know. I don't want to...
If I was to start a charity, right?
Yeah.
By God's grace, I make more money. But you see, I will use my own money to pay people, to book the flights, to make the transportation, and then take money off the people who want to invest. Make sure that to the cent is getting spent on the people who need it. I can be like, Roger, listen, you gave me 20 euros, and your 20 euros is helping this person wherever they are right now. Here's the receipts. You get me? So people know that because obviously if I give to charity and I don't see where the money is going, I'm going to be less motivated to give to charity.
Yeah. Just like, see, like, you know, we mentioned just there about the big charities, you know what I mean? The big ones that we know about. Like, there's a reason why we know about those charities. Do you get me? Like, there's a reason why we're not sitting here and talking about, unless we've done our own research, but there's a reason why we're not talking about the smaller charities, because they don't have the funding to do that. Do you get me? And it's like, I think as ourselves, it's another thing that we need to acknowledge ourselves, like do more research. Don't just be like, oh, I know that charity and I'm going to invest in it.
Yeah, since you're on that point, let's give a little shout out to a couple of people that I feel are doing big things back home. Emmanuel. So Emmanuel has a charity in Nigeria where he basically goes to houses of people who are suffering from cancer and their families and gives them food and makes sure that like their families are doing well. Shout out to Emmanuel for that. I know it's one that he holds extremely dear to his heart. He posted it up on his story a little while ago because it's something that's affected him personally, but being able to see someone in Ireland do something that beautiful like that, something that resonated so deeply with me, because I'm pretty sure all of us in here probably have known someone close to us who has passed from cancer.
Yeah.
That's something that affects everyone on an everyday basis. So imagine that affecting you in states of poverty. I also know Cash. Cash goes every single year for her birthday. This is the sweetest thing. This girl is so sweet. For her birthday every year, she asks her friends to donate to charity instead of presents for herself. Every single year. And that money that's collected, she goes down to Nigeria and she drops food to orphanages. Every single year for their birthday. So it's like, it will shock you, the people that you are sat in a room, that you're kikiing and smiling at, it will shock you what they're doing back home. So it is something that we really need to sit down and look within ourselves and see,
and just
what
decide,
are we doing?
what can we do?
What can we do
It's a
back
personal
home?
choice. It's not by force.
And even if you feel like Africa is a little bit too far away, I donate to the children's hospital here in Ireland. 15 euro on my bank account comes out every single month, because I know there's a lot of things that's got to do with like funding and things like that. There's sick kids here. Find a charity that you know, that you feel like you can see the work that's going into it and stick to it.
Do the research.
I love how you said that, Ross.
Because
I love how you said
it
that.
really shock you who you're sitting next to. Exhibit A. Exhibit A. The fact that you're going to Nigeria even before me said, bro, to go do charity work. It's so beautiful to see.
You said something off camera there about what war really is. Do you want to elaborate on that, babe?
Ooh, let's go.
Do you want to elaborate on that? Go on.
I was just thinking like a couple of weeks ago, right? And I was just thinking like war, when you think about like the root cause, because even when you think in like biblical times and stuff like that, it's like, how do I put it? Like angry men. Like it's like, you know, like angry men, like
Testosterone full.
just like it's a
high.
pride. It's actually a pride thing, but then everyone suffers from it. Like, because even when you think about like with Russia and like stuff, and you're like, just one, like it's one man who just has like, you know, a whole like just like angry
Ego.
about stuff. Like even like in Rwanda, like the current president, like the reason why he like he's been president for 24 years, and like he's angry because basically he's a Tutsi, like he's a Tutsi origin.
Yeah.
So he was suffering because he was being killed. Like his family and all had been killed, and like they had to leave Rwanda because of like the Hutus thing. So like he's held that grudge, and he's like, Tutsis need to be great again. But like, think of how many people he's killed.
Yeah, power is greater than money, and that's, I think a lot of people don't really like they probably won't even understand that. Do you know what I mean? Power, people are more hungry for power than money.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Sudan, because Sudan is basically so one of them is called the Sudanese Armed Forces and the other one is called Rapid Support Forces. And like both of them are beefing each other basically, but also at the expense of everyone around them.
Yeah.
And like, okay, cool, you have this agenda that you want to push, okay? Whatever it is, what do women and children have to do with it? Why do women have to be our word? Why do children have to be hurt? Why do homes have
Once
to be...
again, it goes back to power.
Power, yeah. And I think it's been happening for a very long time as well. Like, with all these things that are happening now, we're the Western world are only really hearing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like all these things have been happening for so long. We just haven't been aware from it, or we've just completely blinded it from our mind. And I think that's what's like really sad about it all. Like it's been happening for too long. And it's like, I don't know, I think probably like, how could we be better? I don't know. Like, that's sort of an open question. Like, how can, like, not just us sitting here, but like obviously our listeners and anyone else who decides to listen to this podcast, like, how can we do better for what's happening?
I think Roz already answered that question, to be honest. Describing Emmanuel and Cash, they're examples of things we can do, little things we can do. And even Roz yourself, the 15 euros a month to the hospital, you're doing your bit. Obviously we can't help the whole world, but it's the little bit that you do.
But what I'm
does
saying,
make that difference.
Yeah, no, and I completely get that. And I think giving to charity on a monthly basis is perfect. But I'm talking about like how to help with like the extremities of genocide that are happening in 3 different parts of the world. Like, how can we help as a Western world?
What would you say could be something we can do?
That's what I'm asking.
You don't know, or
like, that's what I'm saying is like, of course there's boycotting and stuff, but like what can we do to actually help? Do you get me? Because we're so far away. Do you know what I mean? There's so many things that are going on. Like, how can we help? Because if we can't reach out to charity, like if charities aren't helping, okay, like we can boycott, but what else is there?
I think when it comes to things like genocide, that's very political. Like, we don't have power in politics. The only thing that we can do is try and heal some of the damage that's actually been done. Because we can't control the war. We can't control the armies. I think the best thing we can do is stop funding those companies, which is boycotting.
Yeah.
But apart from that, all we can do is be knowledgeable. Like, let's stop being ignorant about a lot of the stuff that's going on. It's great to be able to have the privilege to wake up in the morning, open your phone and scroll past that post because you're too sad to look at that today. The people back home don't have that. So it's good for us to sit and actually acknowledge what is going on and see where we can send our money to help somebody. Because we're not going to we can't help everybody, but you can help one person. So it's like, even now, like, can you speak a bit about what you're going to do in Nigeria so that we're able to tell people what's going on, and if we're able to even help donate or raise money towards it, because you're going in October. This will be out by now. So if you're listening, if you open your ears and taking everything I've said in this episode, taking everything I've said in this episode and donate, even if it's €1, it's €1 more than what was there before.
Yeah.
There's no little amount that's too little to donate to charity. Tell us a bit about what you're doing.
So just a disclaimer, right? So I'm going to Nigeria for a wedding.
Oh, okay.
But I do want, while I'm there, like, so basically, because my new thing since COVID times, right? I always said that I want to visit one African country each year. And the reason for that is because I love traveling, but like, I feel like I just don't want to go to Asia. Like, I actually want to go. I just love the motherland, you know. I just think Africa just has so much to offer. But like, it's to go and just see how beautiful because the PUR in Africa, it's always like poverty and stuff like that. But when you go, there's just it's given what can't, like, it's actually like there's so much to offer.
Banana Island in Nigeria, bro.
It's great, you know, but I'm a big believer in giving back. So like I went to Kenya, Tanzania, Congo, and then like with like, you know, now Nigeria is like, okay, I'm going to be there. I just don't want to just
sit down and do nothing.
Yeah, you know, like I want to do that. So I reached out to, I was just kind of doing research work, and like I go and then kind of praying about like, okay, like God, just direct me like which one I should go, and then sent out a couple of emails, and then the guy Cameron, who's the director, so it's called the name has gone off my like but I'll send it over. But basically it's basically in Makoko. It's in
it's basically,
they call it the Venice of Lagos.
I wouldn't call it Venice now, but it's basically a place where everyone lives on water.
Yeah,
it's actually mad. Water. And the first time I actually learned about Makoko was I was watching this food documentary. Yeah, guys, I'm a weirdo. I love ASMR and all of that. And there's this guy from America who basically toured the whole of Asia. And then he decided to tour Africa as well. And he stopped off in different countries. So he'll do like how much $50 worth of food is, or see like how much I can spend in Nigeria in a day if I'm eating like budget stuff. So he decided to do one episode with Miss Nigeria, and they went to the Cocoa Village, and it's like everyone lives on water. But it's like it's so poor there, and because
I think I've seen videos like that.
Because they're so separate away from the land, when it even comes to politics and getting money, they get nothing.
They got nothing.
Like a lot of the kids there are working in places where they're smoking fish because they live on top of water. The easiest way to make income is fishing. So that's where a lot of the smoked fish come from. And you're seeing little 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds helping
they
with
sleep
fish.
in water.
Girl,
as in like imagine you're in your sitting room. You're in your sitting room and the floor is wet consistently.
Think of like when it's raining, like it's not like
rainy
stable.
Absolutely,
you know?
crazy.
Rainy season is crazy,
and it's so like there's nowhere to like
hygiene.
throw rubbish. Yeah,
like if a kid was sick there with an infection, oh God, they'd have no help. Like what are they supposed to do now? Can you imagine the trek you have to trek before you even reach land?
Right,
crazy.
And the one woman I did see, like that was her normality.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
so normal to them. Yeah,
and
those kids were kicking and laughing in the camera. I sat there with tears in my
that's
eyes
all they
being
know.
like,
That's all they. God bless them. Like goodness me.
So yeah, we're doing that. So I basically what I'll do kind of closer to the time is create like a stationery, because I asked him what do you normally need. So basically they say like school copybooks, pencils, all that kind of stuff, and then in terms of finances because the teachers there are local teachers, so they need money. They need money to pay the teachers, you know, and also to help kind of build like the thing. So probably set up a GoFundMe. But so if anyone's watching, like when that comes out, like you know,
put the link in the description box.
We'll keep it active on our page and post it up.
It's just nice, and that's another thing. Like not everyone can go, like you know, like for me, I love doing, like it's something, but I don't expect people to leave their comfort. Like for me, I just like, it doesn't bother me. Like when I went to, remember when I told, because I had never gone to Congo, so when I always told my mom, if she never brings me, I'm just gonna go by myself, like you know, and I did. Like I literally went by myself, and it's probably one of the best things that I've ever done, you know, like, and you're like going to the village, and, you know, like I like that kind of thing, you know, so, but there's different ways financially. You could buy copybooks, like, you know, you could just pray, like, you know, like it's something so simple, like, you know, so yeah, that's that. It's just giving back, and I think there's power when the diaspora give back, you know, because like, you know, people like other you know people give all the time, you know, and that frustrates me sometimes. So I'm like, why do we not give back to our own people? Why do we not help back? You know, we're better off, you know. Why don't we like think, okay, I'll give that, I'll pay for someone's school fee, you know. So that's
so true. That's so true.
I would like more spokespeople then, because obviously I'm hearing this now, and obviously it's inspiring me to want to do more. I feel like with me, this is me being so real and so dead ass. Obviously, you guys know how I feel about Nigeria and the mosquitoes having a personal vendetta against me. I don't mind someone that likes to go there and giving money to them. Be like, okay, look, I'm going to give you this money. Please, you know, sort these out. I don't mind doing that, and I will, because well, this is what I said at the start. We're grown.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So making those kind of conscious decisions to make those kind of changes, because obviously I can't, like you said, I can't help with mass genocide and all that stuff there, but the little small thing I can do that my heart wants to do as well, because like it says in the Bible, like give what your heart wants to give. Don't give like with, you know what I mean? Like just to boost your ego, give like genuinely, and it could be something small.
Yeah.
But like,
I'm going to go in so deep there, right? So just when you're speaking, so when you give, like, I always think there's a ripple effect to these things, right? So you don't know what that impact could do, right?
Yeah.
So you could give, like I said earlier, like people that start wars are people. You know, it's some person who decided I'm going to start and declare war, right?
And chose violence.
You always think about like all these children, right? One day they won't be children. They probably will remember, oh, this person actually like sponsored me to go to school, and they might have a different, compared to like, let's say, I keep coming for the president for Rwanda. I'm not actually, it's just because I was reading his biography, but like when he was younger, like he had this like, rage in him, and he's like, he needs to like, he just needs to basically make sure Tutsis are in power again. But you could have someone else, a kid who you have changed their life by just feeding their family, and they're like, you know what, I want everyone to feel like that, and they could be the next world leader.
It's like
that's how my brain thinks. You might not see the impact in this generation, but the world will evolve, and I like to be hopeful and believe that it probably will get better. It has to get better. It has to get better. Get worse. Yeah, It
literally cannot
so
get
you
worse.
never know what the impact might have. Like that might be just you playing your part and planting a seed.
I love that.
Yeah,
definitely.
I love that.
If you guys want to, we'll just take a little break from that. I want to touch on something. Basically, okay, cool. People having immigrant parents and choosing bad decisions. This guy came on. Why did you guys hop and puff? Basically, this guy came on TikTok and he was vexed. Obviously, it's kind of like a touchy subject because, we have to talk about, let's say, the psychology behind it. Maybe, the trauma from their parents, from their war-torn country. They've now transferred it to their kids. There's a lot of stuff like that. But what do you guys think? Obviously, people who come from these kind of countries where there's like war and there's poverty, they've now come to Europe or the Western society, and now try to allow their kids to have a better life. But those kids are now choosing gang life, drugs, other stuff.
It is dumb.
I don't want to sound insensitive, but I just do feel like if your parents have fought so much to get to a place where it's better, the least you can do is respect their choices and their hard work and try your best to, make things better for yourself. Because imagine now, like your mom has come from this place, and she's now moved to this place to give you a better life, and you now turn around and you're in jail.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of life.
It's the heartbreaking thing, because I was like, when you look at, because we didn't grow up in UK, I don't know too much about it, but I like to believe Top Boy is very real.
Yeah,
like very, very real. You hear so many stories of these kids. Actually, I'm not even going as far as Top Boy. There was this kid that our family knew. Funnily enough, I didn't know him too well, but he was in my house one day during Christmas with an ankle bracelet. Wow. Like this is my first time meeting this kid. And what the story that I heard behind it was that he was actually from Ireland, but this was in UK, in Manchester. So what I basically heard was that his parents used to work so much that they were never at home. So he was getting into gang nonsense when they weren't around. And that's what blows my mind. That your parents are going to work to be able to put food on your table. Yeah. And let's not lie, the money they're making from all this gang stuff is not to put the food on the table. It's not to heat up your house. It's not for electricity. It's to show up in Canada Goose jackets, Moncler vest.
Not all the time.
Sometimes people go in there for community, like you know, like they feel like
that's what I'm saying.
Sense
like,
of belonging.
It's a bit touchy because
that's crazy.
I know it's a bit touchy because let's say your parents aren't home. That your child. What do you know? You're gonna look for your parents outside. So it's kind of.
But is everyone not taught drugs is bad?
No, but the thing is, like, so people are products of their environment. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So your parents might have given you a whole different life, a life that they have never experienced, and that's great. But what they can provide is probably in an area of a lower income. So what's surrounding them? Do you know what I mean? Your parents got you out of their hellhole, but they've brought you to another environment that they're not used to, that has its own problems that they're not educated on. So I feel like a lot of times people like who get themselves, and sometimes people are just silly and they're stupid and they just choose that life when they have so much more that they can give to the world. But sometimes people are put into those environments and they don't know anything else. Do you know what I mean? And I think as well with like, yes, it is to flex on some aspects, but there's a lot of people that are getting into that lifestyle because it's the only thing that they think will get them to a level of financial freedom, which is also silly. But it's like, I think it's really sad because like you can't, like, we're so blessed here, like we're all educated, do you know what I mean? Parents were able to put us down the right path to understand that, like, okay, go to college, get a job, that's well and good, you know what I mean? But then in Ireland, the college fees aren't that expensive. You're looking at the UK, you're looking at the States, you're looking at all these other countries where it costs money to go to college. Like, we're blessed, it's only $3,000 is it, or is it $4,000? I don't know.
Not even.
Yeah, $3,000 a year, and half of that is subsidized. But then you're going to the States, like, how much is it? Like, it's like, well,
it's crazy. Some people who spend like something like over $100,000 a year.
Do you get me? Or even in the UK, you're talking about like 20, 30 grand. Do you know what I mean? And that's
UK, I know it's 20, 30 grand, but there is grants for it. Like, my brother's got grants. It's not like, I don't come from a very rich house. So it's like, at the end of the day, I still feel like a lot of it is based. I can even understand America, because I feel like America is a whole different ball game. You can make it in America, you can make it anywhere. But even like the likes of UK, when you see a lot of this like knife crime, a lot of the gang violence is between opposing gangs, which once again comes from ego and pride. You watch Blue Story, it was a revolving situation from opposing gangs. A lot of those kids weren't in that life just for the money. It was just because of, like, as you said, sense of community and things like that. But when you sit and you look at it, it's like a lot of it was like, you have the same accessibility as everyone. There was this thing I seen on Oprah a couple of years ago. It was twins. They came from parents who were like into drugs and things like that. So one basically ended up homeless. One basically ended up like a lawyer or something like that. They have the exact same life, two different endings. Why? Because it's the choices that you take. And that's America. I'm not saying now everyone gets the same chances. But it's, at the end of the day, I think people really need to realize you have a choice in everything you do. It's just not going to be always easy. And I think when it comes to the drug life, it's like people are like, I know this is not easy, I'm going to tap out and find the quick route. And that's where the problem is. Because it's like there's a lot of people who have been in similar situations and they do make it at the end. I understand life does not give everyone the same lemons. But when you're in a point where you're having to end someone else's life for you to get above, you're in the wrong place, mate.
100%.
You know what I was even thinking as you were talking? Obviously, you know the African mentality. We have to put it to dead. I hope this is the last time we talk about it. You know, when we, let's say, express to our parents, oh, I'm sad or I'm depressed. And they're like, why are you depressed? You have all this stuff. I feel like that could also be an attribute of that. Let's say, for example, I've now communicated to my parents like, oh, I feel this way. And they don't really know how to understand it because they've come from such a, you know, crazy background. So now I'm going outside, and obviously people outside are not going to be like, I'm a bad person, don't listen to me. There's manipulation, there's seduction, there's coercion. That one. There's, you know, the R, there's like there's so many bad things out there, like, so it's techie.
It's like sex trafficking. Do you know what I mean? Do you think all these women get into sex trafficking because they want to do it? Do you know what I mean? They're manipulated, as you were saying, they're coerced, they're made to believe that this is a safety net for them. And once they've, I don't know if this is exactly what gangs do, but they get you to your lowest point and then they show you. That's how people get addicted to drugs and alcohol or whatever. They get you to your lowest point and then they make you feel like the only way out is them. Do you get me? So it's like, you might have gotten into like this like drug gangland lifestyle because of like just want to show off and stuff. But then you get put in a situation where you have no one. Like they like isolate you from everyone And then
That's
you
it.
only can
Yeah.
rely on them.
It becomes a control mechanism, but it's
Yeah.
like when you deep a lot of that gang life stuff, how did you get there? Now, I do understand some of the gang life stuff comes from like families. You know, there's some kids who cannot, you're looking at Power. I love the way I'm just referencing different TV shows.
It comes from somewhere.
It comes from somewhere. You can see that like sometimes you're brought up and it comes in your family. But a lot of the stuff in the UK, a lot of it is not family based.
But I think it's like all these TV shows glamorize what actually is happening. Do you know what I mean? Like especially in the UK,
See,
in
babe,
America.
I'm talking about it as someone who has had a very close friend whose brother is in jail right now from it. I'm talking about this as someone I grew up with, I now know is in jail from being involved in a gang. And he ended up in jail for 16 years at the age of 16. He's not even eligible for parole, all because he was part of a gang. And all of that came from, he never told anyone the problems that were going on in school. He never told his family anything. So when all of this happened, it became a thing. They were completely flabbergasted that this is what he was even, but it was his choice.
But who did he tell? Do you get me? Like he didn't tell his family, fair enough.
But
But he
that's
was
what I'm saying.
talking
He
to
told him
someone.
how to communicate though.
That's the thing.
you get me?
His dad passed.
So
He's someone that had a lot of things going, but this is what I'm saying. He still had a choice, because bear in mind, he's not the only sibling. He has a couple of brothers younger than him, but he still made a choice.
but younger.
Yeah, he has.
Do you get me?
Yeah.
But as like the thing is, I'm not saying that, like I 100% believe, like 16 years old, and this sort of goes back to what we first were saying with like frontal lobes and stuff. Fair enough, like he was dealt a really bad hand of cards. Do you get me? And he probably was mature enough because of his like upbringing, but his frontal lobe was not there in the sense of he still made wrong decisions. Do you get me? But can you really say like I don't believe like a 16-year-old should get put away for 16 years because they're still a child themselves. Do you know what I mean? Like what were you at like when you were 16? But I think yes, everybody has a choice.
This is coming from someone who's spoken to a member of his family. They were happy. They basically said that if this didn't happen, they were afraid he would have ended up dead.
100%.
This was probably a safer route. But because at the end of the day, the reason why he's there is because someone died.
No, but like
Go on.
I was even gonna just spin it. Now, okay, cool. We've talked about kids, right? Parents having kids in situations where they shouldn't be having kids. Now that these kids are brought up in a world where like their parents aren't able to take care of them properly. So should we blame the parents?
I was going that route as well. Like I think, and I'm not a parent yet, so I don't know. But like I wonder if we underestimate the significance of being a parent, like what that role actually carries, you know? Like if you're bringing a child in this world, you are responsible for that child's upbringing and how they think. But also remember that child is not always going to be a child forever. They're going to be a citizen of society, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why even when we talk about like, I get it, people will do whatever, you know, to make sure that there's food on the table or whatever. But sometimes kids just want the TLC. They just want to see their parent there.
Yeah.
You know,
They're
not even thinking, oh, there's no food. Like, it's like, okay, I just love that. Like, because I think sometimes with my upbringing, like, although my parents are divorced now, my childhood was the best thing ever. So I just remember seeing my parents at home, like, you know, and like,
Present.
they instilled me great value. I think I am who I am today because of the amount of time, like the amount of time that my parents have invested in me as a child, you know? So I think the role of a parent is important there, you know? Yeah.
I'll open up about my childhood there and why I probably have an anxious attachment style, big pair. So basically, so obviously I was born in Ireland, but my mom took me to the UK at 6 months old. And I stayed in the UK until I was 9 years old. Mind you, I lived in kind of like the ghetto, so East London, Leighton or whatever. There was a lot of like crime there. Like I remember waking up at like probably like 12 or something. No, my bedtime is 9 p.m. Seeing dog fights in front of my house. You know, there was a couple family things or whatever. So obviously my mom wasn't with me. My parents weren't with me in the UK. So obviously what would happen was that she'd come visit me and she'd stay for a while, but she'd have to go back. So she'd go back in the nighttime so I don't wake up and see her gone. So obviously, like, my anxious style came from the fact that, like, cool, why did she leave? She left me because of the reason, whatever is in my head. I'm flipping 4 or 5 years old. I grew up around adults. But one thing I would say, just to spin back on this situation, is that at least my grandma was taking me to church. They were taking me to church. Now you can say maybe God saved me, because a lot of things, I'm not going to touch on everything, but a lot of things did happen when I was growing up. And like, if I wasn't going to church, or if I didn't have my grandma there, even because you take a child to church, but you're not like watching them listen to God. They're just there. So obviously, like, in regards to parents, having kids when you know it's the right time to have kids so they can be raised in proper environments and that you can take care of them, or even I'm grateful to God that I have friends, because it's going to take a village to raise my kids. Yeah. So obviously, even if I just, maybe I'm having a tough week, I'll just, Roz, look, you're the godmother.
I'll take your baby.
Obviously cool. If you feel like you're not even as a good parent as you think you can be, having a village that when you are having down days, your children can be raised by good people. So fair enough, cool. The kid does make decisions, whatever, but the parents, why is the parents putting the kids in situations where the kids have to make decisions for themselves?
I think it's really good that you had a stable adult in your life. Do you know what I mean? And I think the main thing, one of the things that we're probably missing out on is a lot of people don't have that. Do you know what I mean? Going back to stable parents, like, to be honest, like, being a stable parent, like, people have kids young, they have kids in trauma, do you know what I mean? And like, it's all well and good to sit here and be like, yeah, like, people should have like X, Y, and Z together, but you have to also account for life. Do you get me? And it's like, some people bring children into this world and they're not prepared for it, and they do the best they can, and sometimes their best is not good enough, and they still mess up their kids. And as a parent, you'll always wonder, am I doing it right? Have I done enough? Like, and then there's some parents that just don't care, and they just sort of like go off, and they don't know how to be parents. We're all wired differently, but I definitely think with like all these things, and like especially with like knife crime and all these crimes that go on that go on so close to home, I think the main reason is there is no stable network. There is no village. There is nothing. Absolutely. And some people are on their own. Yeah. And I don't know, I've experienced it, and I've seen it, and it's like, even to have one person in your life that's rooting for you is a blessing in those situations. Yeah. And it's like, sometimes people do have a choice, which we were speaking about, and they might know what the right decision is, but back to what you were saying as well, they want the community, they want to feel loved, they want to feel like they're involved in something, because they actually have nothing. And if that's shown off that they have a pair of Canada Goose, but they don't have any food on the table, like, it's actually really sad that that's what people think. Do you get me? Because they don't have anyone. So, yeah, I think people are products in their environment, and they really, like, we're just, like, I know I'm blessed for sure that I have my village.
And another thing is that I think a lot of us now are so much more aware of what our parents have been through. I think a lot of us now understand therapy.
Sure.
We also understand the importance of community, good community, not the bad one. We understand community and love, and I think we know that our kids are going to be different. Our generation will be different, because we have the tools that we have a lot more tools than our parents had in the past. We've done a lot of the work. I would love as a community to hear less knife crime between the Black community, because let's not lie, it's a Black community problem. The kids who don't have fathers, I would love a lot less of that. It's different losing a father, but it's different having a father leave you. A lot of those things play heavily and deeply within our community, and it's only us that can fix it. Let's not raise kids the way that we have been raised. Let's do better, and we can do better. Every day that you wake up, you've been blessed with another day on this earth where you're doing better than someone, and that you have a choice to do better than you had yesterday.
Absolutely.
100%.
So it's a privilege, actually, that our parents didn't have like, you know, like I think about my mom and I never used to understand her, but like obviously when you're older, the frontal lobe has developed. And you realize they're actually people. And then like, you know, because my mom she got sent off to get married at 18, you know, had her first child at 19. She's had 7 children. So she's hadn't had time to even figure herself out, you know?
She wasn't grown.
And I thinking of the times where I'm kind of conflicted of like who am I as a person? But look at the amount of time I have, you know, like I'm single, I have time, I have my own money, like I can do whatever. She didn't have that, you know, and it's like, it's actually a privilege, you know, and I know sometimes I'm always complaining about that the streets are cold, but you know, I'm actually happy that I can get time to kind of work on myself. I get, you know, I get to go to therapy, you know, I get to actually heal stuff to be a better person, that if one day I will be a mother, I'm actually a stable adult in someone's life, and not even just a mother, like a stable person in general. Like, you know, like if I'm going to like work or different areas, you know, I know how to kind of navigate that, you know, and that's stuff that like our parents unfortunately didn't have. And like you said, like we just need to do better and like take hold of that.
I had an epiphany, I think it was like 2 days ago. I was just talking to my mom and I was like, yo, I'm 30 this year. What were you doing when I was 30? And she was like, oh, I just had your brother when I was 30. And I was like, I remember that. You weren't 30 in my head. You were just old. Like, I remember what? Like, what? Like, Bible was what? No, Bible was 6. I remember. I was 6 years old when you had that. I said, you were 30, Mom? So that is crazy. That's you didn't look like me now, but anyways.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, we're definitely going to break generational curses.
Amen.
So if y'all listening, if you take anything from today, it's just every day wake up and choose to be a better person and help the world.
Do you get? And you will still mess up as a parent. Don't ever think. Please. You can have all your ducks in a row and you're still going to mess up. So
I don't
put
think
too
mess
much
ups are bad though. I was actually speaking to my colleague about that. I think I'm a better person because I've messed up on stuff.
There's no such thing as perfect.
Yeah.
No one is perfect.
I think we're born to mess up.
You're looking at a big mistake maker here. But don't she look good though? Don't she look good though? Look at my mistakes.
All make mistakes.
Literally.
Please.
Literally. You know how many wigs I've cut short, not properly, but I got it right soon.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, mistakes.
Practice makes perfect. Yeah.
Literally.
100%.
Love mistakes over here.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I think we should round up, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Liz, so much for coming on and for
That was
educating
amazing.
us.
I'm not gonna lie. This is such a good talk.
Yeah.
We'll link everything you need. Just anything you need us to link. We'll link.
I will stay in contact with you. Stay on top of
So
it.
everything
when
will
you're
be-
going to Nigeria, please let me know.
We'll link everything in the description box, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you did take something from this pod. Please comment. We can read it in the next pod of your thoughts. If you disagree with anything we said, if you think we weren't educated enough on a topic, please drop all the knowledge. We can do part 2. Drop all the knowledge in the description box. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and tune in next week for your weekly subscription.
That was such a good pause, guys. That was so awesome.